So this is part 2 on my reasons why people don't like John Cena. Part 2. So picking up where I left off in the first video, was that going back to what I said, and people saying, hey, of John Cena, just having to get his win back. Like I don't understand the necessary need for that coming from WWE. I said it once, and I still stand by what I said. I think out of everybody John Cena's beaten, by Rock beating him at WrestleMania last year, I don't think John Cena had to get his win back or had to beat The Rock come WrestleMania this year. I still stand by that. John Cena's beaten Triple H. He's beaten Shawn Michaels. Hell, Brock Lesnar, who came back. Brock Lesnar's first match and returning, John Cena beat him. And people say, hey, that's him getting his win back after he lost to The Rock that previous month from WrestleMania. They could have just left it like that. Hey, he gets his win back from Brock Lesnar, but he just didn't beat The Rock. That's the one guy he didn't beat. And it's like, CM Punk, he's beaten. Randy Orton. It's just on and on and on and on. And it's like, you really don't like John Cena then, because it's like there's nobody on his list that that he can lose to and just leave it like that. That's another reason why a lot of people just don't like John Cena, is that he can't lose. He can't. And if he does, he has to get his win back. He has to have the last laugh on everybody. That's the problem. Everybody. He has to get the last laugh. He has to get his win back on everybody. There can't be one, there can't be two people that John Cena has said, hey, this is the one guy, this is the two guys I couldn't beat in my illustrious career. I beat all the top dogs except for this one person, or except for the second person. He has to beat everybody. I don't get that. Never happened with Austin. Never happened with Bret Hart. Never happened with Shawn Michaels. Never happened with everything, even Hulk Hogan. It's never really happened with before. Which goes on to the next topic. One key factor, I think, is the reason why a lot of people don't like John Cena, but they don't mention it because I don't think it's been brought up to them. John Cena's long tenure. Like I said in part 1 of my video, John Cena has been number one guy for 8 or 9 years out of the decade plus that he's been in WWE, that he's been the golden child. And I think the attention span of modern wrestling fans today are so short. It's so short that, we kind of tired of seeing the same stuff over and over. Because it's like, okay, we got this one guy who's keep doing this one thing, and he's been doing this one thing for a decade. And it's like, would you please replace him? And John Cena's like 35, 36 years old, so he still can go for another, 4 or 5 years if he chooses to, which for us wrestling fans is like 1 year equals a decade for us. It's like, oh, hell, we got to deal with this for another 4 or 5 years, so that's the problem. I think the wrestling fans have, because you go before John Cena, Austin was the face of the company for 4 years. Before Austin, it was Shawn Michaels, who had it for about like 2. Before Shawn Michaels, it was Bret Hart, who also was the top guy for another 4 or 5 years. Only person before Bret Hart was Hulk Hogan. And even then, Hulk Hogan was the top guy of WWE from 1984, I believe, until... Now, Hulk Hogan left WWE and joined WCW in 93, and that was his last run as WWE champion. In 91 and 93. But from 84 to 1990, once 1990 hit and the 90s, that new decade of the 90s kind of started, Hulk Hogan started to decline a little bit. Yes, Hulk Hogan was still, a top draw, but Hogan was starting to wind down. Vince was starting to wind Hogan down because it was kind of getting to that point. People were starting to get tired of Hogan, and Vince kind of needed to, pull the plug out of the socket before it got worse. So I guess you can say Vince stopped Hulkamania before Hulkamania, or the legend of Hulkamania, would have been, thrown back, at Vince and then Hogan. So even then, so you can really honestly say, even though Hogan still stayed in WWE from 1990 to 93, from 84 to 1990, Hogan was, you can say, the top guy. So that in itself, from 84 to 1990, that's about, what, 7, 8 years. John Cena, and we haven't had a top face to be the golden goose for the company since Hogan. So it from looks like John Cena already has matched Hogan and been the top guy for that long, and he may even eclipse Hulk Hogan. And if he eclipsed Hulk Hogan and solidifying his spot as a poster child for WWE, then my God, you're going back to like Bruno Sammartino days, where you're like the company for like 12 years plus. And with wrestling fans today, can't really do that because wrestling fans have a short attention span. That's why so many wrestling fans are kind of pissed off when CM Punk had his 434-day reign as WWE champion, because attention spans are so short. So I think that's another thing. The reason why a lot of people just don't like John Cena is because his long tenure. And in his long tenure, like I said, him having the same persona, the same gimmick for 10 years straight, that just, it makes people fed up and say, you know what, I don't want to see this guy for another year, another 2 years. Replace him, please. I want to see someone else in his spot, please. You know, so that's another thing. I think the reason why a lot of people don't like John Cena is because he has been the golden goose for so long. And in John Cena's defense, a lot of Cena fans go out and say, you know, John Cena's the top guy because he's earned that spot. He's this, da 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 da. And again, I keep saying to people, like, John Cena was the fallout guy. John Cena wasn't meant to be the golden goose. And not to say that, hey, he shouldn't take the spot that he's in, because I mean, wrestling is a business where, you know, very few can even get to the top at where John Cena's at. So I'm not saying that, hey, John Cena could be like, hey, you know what? Even though this spot isn't meant for me, here, you take it. No, you take it for yourself. Absolutely. I don't blame John Cena for that. But the problem I have with Cena fans and what they try to defend John Cena is that they keep saying WWE can't replace John Cena. They can't build anyone like John Cena. And it's like, yes, they can. WWE, just like how WWE forced and pushed, and there's a lot of anti-Cena fans like to use the frame, shove Cena down our throats for 10 years, where we're just like, what the hell, Vince? Fine, we'll take Cena as the poster child. If WWE did that with John Cena, they could do it with other people. They could do it with Sheamus. They could do it with CM Punk. They could do it with Randy Orton. They could do it with this person or that person. And I know a lot of people say, well, hey, he's only pushing because this person, he appeals to the masses. He does this and he does that. A lot of times what WWE does, they will push and force you, they will force feed you a star where you have no other choice but to cheer them. You have no other choice but to like them. They will build up a superstar to a certain plateau to make you believe, hey, this guy can put butts in seats, this guy can sell merchandise, this guy can sell tickets. If they did that with John Cena, they could easily do it with somebody else. So I'm tired of people using that as a freaking excuse for John Cena and for him being the top guy, for being the top guy as long as he has been, because it's crap. Playing the same old tune and it's crap now, literally. So just stop it. Just stop it. You know. So these are, you know, the reasons why I think a lot of people, I think that a lot of people just don't like John Cena. You know, I know a lot of people say, you know, John Cena turned heel, John Cena turned heel, John Cena turned heel. John Cena's never going to turn heel. For those of you who want to see that, John Cena will never, and The Rock means ever, turn heel. Sometimes you can have like that little seed, like, you may want something, but you have that little seed of doubt in the back of your mind. And sometimes you need to see, you need to see some type of clarification in front of you that makes that seed of doubt in the back of your mind kind of like come forward and be like, okay, you know what? I had to see it to believe it. Like, this is what it is. When John Cena did the whole Make-A-Wish Foundation thing, when he had the kids coming out on Raw, and he was like, you know, interacting with the kids and stuff like that, once I saw that on Raw, that moment right there, that was clarification for me saying, like, you know what? John Cena's not going to turn heel. I may want it. Other people may want it. He's not going to turn heel. That's the reason right there. That's why John Cena is, you know, such a grabber for kids. That's why John Cena in the spot that he is today, because it's the kids. He's never going to turn heel. The only reason I think John Cena will ever turn heel is once they find that that suitable replacement for John Cena to replace John Cena and take John Cena's place. Only then do I think that's when they're going to, you know, if John Cena can still wrestle during that time. That's the only thing I can see them turning John Cena heel. But unless they find that replacement, even then, I don't even know if John Cena will ever turn heel. John Cena just may be the very first. And then on top of the two, their experience with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin being, you know, his failure in turning into a heel. I didn't mind Austin being a heel. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought there was some enjoyable moments out of it. But compared to the masses, it wasn't that great of a run. So with that also in the back of WWE's mind, that's another reason why I think John Cena will just never. We will never see a heel Cena ever again. But yeah, so this is just my part 2. It's kind of a little rant. I just had to get out my system. You guys let me know what you think on this topic and the points I brought up in this video. In the box below, as well as you know, the first part 1 in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the box below. Subscribe. Peace.